Hey, what I'm going to talk about today, I think you all understood what does this apple means in physics. Yes, I'm going to talk about gravity today. Why this apple is falling? What is pulling this apple? What force are acting on this apple? All that I'm going to discuss in this video. First of all, let us see the history of gravity. Before I want to do that, please share my channel, subscribe, and please share my videos with your friends. If you really like my content, please leave your comments. Let's continue. So we all know the famous Newton's observation, what he was doing under an apple tree. Before Newton, is there anyone who did observations regarding gravity? Yes, there is a man called Aristotle. He belongs to 4th century BC. He made some observations and he did some experiments, and he found that the objects which are heavier will fall faster when compared to the objects which are lighter. For example, suppose if I take a book and a paper. Now I have a book and a paper and I am dropping it. I drop both of them at simultaneous. See, still the paper in the air, but the book has reached the ground earlier than the paper. Same way, if I drop an apple and the paper, the same logic goes. The apples will fall faster than the paper. The same experiment was conducted by Aristotle, and he finally concluded that the one which is heavier will fall faster than the lighter. Are the velocity of a body directly proportional to the mass? That's what is observation. And people believed his theory almost for 2000 years. What Aristotle said was correct for almost 2000 years. People could not contradict his points. Then in around 16th century, in 1562, Galileo conducted some experiments to prove that Aristotle's point is wrong. What Galileo did, he went to the top of, since he is born in Italy, he went to the top of Leaning Tower of Pisa, and he conducted an experiment where he dropped two spears, one made up of wood, another one made up of lead. Both the spears are identical in shape and they have different masses. When he dropped both of them from Leaning Tower of Pisa, he found that both of them are reaching the ground at the same time. Then he said that the mass is not the point. It is actually because of air resistance only the bodies are reaching the ground at different velocities at different times. Now let us do one simple experiment. We'll understand how resistance affects. Now I have two papers. So what I'll do is I'll fold one paper. I fold one paper and the other one is a flat paper, right? So what we'll do is just I leave both of them. If I see still the paper, it is in air. That means when I drop a paper which is folded and the paper, why this is taking more time to reach the ground? Why the one which is folded reaches earlier? Because the moment I fold it, I am decreasing the surface area. But whereas this paper has more surface area, when it is falling, more air will oppose its motion. So it takes more time when compared to this. That's the reason why balloons will take more time to reach the ground. And if you look at this folded paper, since area surface area is decreasing, it is experiencing less air resistance. That is the reason why this is falling earlier and this is falling very late. Now we can do one more experiment also. We want to prove that the same logic. If I take, now I have a book and a paper. So let us drop a book and paper at the same time. You can see still the paper is at the air But whereas the paper, the book has reached the ground, still the paper is floating in air. So this means this is heavier, this is lighter. This was the point of Aristotle. He thought that heavier ones will fall faster than the lighter ones, because he doesn't have an idea about this, what you call it as air resistance. He understood that, and because the heavier ones will reach earlier than the lighter ones. Now Galileo proved one more point. It is all, the culprit was the air resistance, not gravity. Now we'll do one more experiment. Let me keep the paper on this book. Now what happens, see, I am just dropping the paper and the book at the same time. See, both the paper and this book have reached at the same time. So from this we understand that if the air resistance is not there, this paper and this, what you call it as book, will reach the ground at the same time, and they'll hit the ground with the same velocity. The reason is not the mass of the body, it is only about the air resistance. You all might have seen a video which was a documentary made by Brian Cox in BBC, where a metal sphere and a feather are dropped in a vacuum chamber simultaneously. When you release a metal body, a metal sphere and a feather in a vacuum chamber, you know that both will accelerate down at the same rate. But now you just if you're not a vacuum, if there is a fill of air, the metal ball will move faster than the what you call the feather. So this experiment also proved that gravity is independent of mass. Gravity does not depend on mass. Every body will accelerate at the same rate irrespective of what you call as the mass of the body. This was proved by Galileo in 16th century. And then Galileo could not explain any mathematical relations. He said only gravity is independent of mass, but he could not explain any mathematical relations. He could not generalize it. Then people believed those things for another century, and then came Newton around 1642, and yeah, the same thing, you all aware of this experiment. Newton also understood that, yeah, when he was sitting under the tree, he found that an apple is falling, what called as. Then he thought, why this apple is falling only in the downward direction? Why can't it go up, or why can't it stay there? Lot of questions came into his mind. Then after series of experimentation, he came to know that it is all because of gravity. When the apple was what called as on the tree, when it ripens, yes, when it detaches, because the weight is heavier than the upward force, it detaches from the branch. Then it starts falling down. So what is the velocity when it is at the branch? 0. Then slowly this apple accelerates down. What is that acceleration? We call it as acceleration due to gravity. So what is acceleration due to gravity? Very simple. The acceleration produced in a freely falling body due to Earth's gravitational force is called acceleration due to gravity. See, the advantage Newton had when compared to Galileo was that lot of calculus was developed by the time of Newton. So Newton used the calculus for formatting some general rules, and with the help of calculus only able to derive the relation between the force, how force acts between the two bodies, and how gravity depends on mass, how the gravitational force depends on the mass of the bodies. All that he derived. We all know the famous relation F is equal to G m1 m2 by r square. That mathematical relation was given by Newton. Newton only said how the bodies attract each other. He could not understand the reason why they are attracting. Again, yes. See, as I said, people believed Aristotle for 2000 years until Galileo came. Then what Galileo said also people believed for over a century. Then in 17th century, this Newton formulated the laws of gravitation, and that was also believed for another 200 years until Einstein put forward his famous theory of relativity. He could explain the reason for gravitational force, okay, and he found that the particles called gravitons are actually responsible for it. And with the help of theory of relativity, he understood that even light also is affected by gravity. When light passes through a massive star and this light is pulled. That's what we say. What is a black hole we talk about? A black hole is an entity in space where we say light also cannot escape. That means inside the black hole the gravitational force is so intense, light also cannot come out it. That's why that place we call it as a black hole, because the gravity is so intense. So this is the story behind this falling of an apple. I hope you'll understood. Some more things in this video. We'll discuss all the mathematical relations like time of flight, time of descent, and all these things we are going to explain in this particular video. Thank you. Hi. In this video, I'm going to explain what is freely falling body, what is acceleration due to gravity, and some standard equations for a freely falling body. Let us learn in this video. So definitely, if you learn all these things, as I said, it will accelerate your confidence, sure. So first of all, let us see what is a freely falling body. So you all might have seen these day-to-day situations. This woman is falling from an aeroplane, or maybe she may be jumping from a building. Now she is falling because of there is only one force, that is called gravitational force. So if any body is in motion due to only one force called gravitational force, then the body is said to be a freely falling body. An object is said to be in free fall if it is under an action of only one single force, that is called a gravitational force. Here in all our discussion, we are neglecting air resistance. We are neglecting air resistance. Unless and it is mentioned in the problem, we don't consider. So this is what Leaning Tower of Pisa. From the top of this tower only, Galileo proved that when two objects are dropped from the top of the tower, okay, they reach, suppose you take two spheres, one made up of iron, or you can say wood, and another one made up of say lead. Both are having identical shape but different masses, but he proved that both will touch the ground at the same time. So from this, he proved that gravity is independent of mass of the bodies. So this is Leaning Tower of Pisa that we find in Italy. And if you go to an amusement park, majority of you might have seen this free fall. So these people are lifted to the top, and all of a sudden they leave these people at this, from this level, so they'll fall. Okay, this is the best example of freely falling body you all might have experienced in amusement park. Even as I said, this woman is falling from a greater heights from an airplane, and she is also an example of free fall until she open up this what called as a parachute. So she is also falling because of only gravitational force. Okay, now you might have seen in some amusement park, kids are jumping on the trampoline. So this boy is falling freely. He is falling freely onto this trampoline. So he also is an example of what you call as, look at, his father is not pulling him, he's just falling onto the trampoline. So we can take this is also an example of freely falling body. So in our day-to-day life, we have many examples of freely falling. All the fruits which are ripened, they also fall freely due to gravitational force. We find a lot of these dry coconuts are also falling from the branch of this coconut, from the coconut tree. All these are examples of freely falling body that we see in our day-to-day life. So now let's move on. First of all, what is acceleration due to gravity. For example, I have a tower or something, and let's take height of the tower is h. I am releasing a body from this point. I said I'm just releasing means its velocity is 0. But as it is coming down, it is acted upon by a force called gravitational force. There is a force acting on the body. So when it touches the ground, it has some velocity. Maybe it may take some time. So what is acceleration? Final minus initial upon time. So final, there is a velocity, initial 0 by time. So there is some acceleration. So who produced this acceleration? The gravitational force. So the acceleration produced in a freely falling body. So here we said this is nothing but g. So this acceleration was produced by freely falling body. Hence, this is called acceleration due to gravity. That is called acceleration due to gravity. Now, the question is acceleration due to gravity same at all places? The answer is no. Suppose you take Earth. Near the poles, if you look at the poles, the value of acceleration due to gravity will be maximum, and which is around 9.83 meter per second square. Whereas at the equator, if you consider, the acceleration due to gravity will be 9.78. Here g at the equator is 9.78 meter per second square. Now let us take the average of those two. So g is equal to g at poles plus g at equator upon 2, 9.83 plus 9.78 whole upon 2, which is actually 9.80. So the value of g that we use for solving the problems is actually the average of both the values at equator at poles. So acceleration due to gravity is maximum on the equator, poles, minimum at the equator. And what is the acceleration due to gravity at the center of the earth? At the center of the earth, acceleration due to gravity is 0. Now, on the moon, if you go to the moon, the acceleration due to gravity is only 1/6 of the earth. That is 9.8 upon 6, which is nearly 1.67 meter per second square. The acceleration due to gravity on moon is 1/6 of the earth. And if you see the sun, the acceleration due to gravity on sun is very high, 274 meter per second square. It is around 274 meter per second square, right? So acceleration due to gravity changes from place to place, even on earth, changes from planet to planet and all that. And remember that since acceleration, gravitational force acts in the downward direction, that is toward the center of the earth. Acceleration due to gravity is also a vector which acts downward toward the center. Acceleration due to gravity is a vector which always acts toward the center of the earth. So when a body is falling freely, that is, it is falling in the direction of motion, for that we take plus z in the downward direction. If the body is projected up, it is moving against gravity, we take minus z. And when a body projected along the horizontal, gravity is 0. So for freely falling body, it is plus z. For vertically projected body, it is minus z. And if you project horizontally, gravity does not act. So acceleration due to gravity is the acceleration produced in a freely falling body due to Earth's gravitational force of attraction. So look at, so the value is 9.8 meter per second square, and we fall with this acceleration. Whenever we fall freely, we fall with this. Let us see the equations of motion for a freely falling body. First of all, what are the equations of motion? First equation is u plus at. For a freely falling body, initial velocity is 0. Since it is falling freely, so we take u0. And if it falls, since it's falling downward, so we write v is equal to gt. This equation become v is equal to gt. Again, the second equation we can say v square minus u square is equal to 2s. So this becomes final velocity, so v square, u again 0, so 2g, some height, generally the body is falling from certain height, we say height. Again we have equation s is equal to ut plus half at square, so this becomes s is equal to half gt square. Then we have one more, Sn is equal to u plus a into n minus half. This equation I can write it as Sn is equal to g into n minus half. The only thing is replace u with 0, a with g. That's it. Everything is same. So for a freely falling body, u is equal to 0, a is equal to plus g. Yes, we can take it as h. That's it. The remaining thing is very simple. Now let us see what is time of descent. Now let us consider, now I am dropping a body from a tower of height h. Let us take this tower is at height h. So the height of the tower is this. I am dropping this body from that. So again I said u0. So the time taken, what is time of descent? The time taken by a freely falling body to reach the ground. Time taken by the freely falling body to reach the ground is called time of descent. So let us use this equation. V is, or we can use this S is equal to ut plus half at square. So in this case, what is the total distance traveled h? What is the initial velocity? 0 plus half. Body is falling down, so g plus g only, g into time of descent. Let us take td square. So from this I understand td square is 2h by g. That implies for a freely falling body, time of descent is 2h by g. This is the simple equation we can understand. Now let us move on to find out the final velocity of a freely falling body. Again, let us take a body is falling from certain height. Let's take this height. The stone is dropped. Again for the stone, what is the initial velocity? 0. And again, since it is falling freely, so a is equal to plus z. So let us use the equation v square minus u square is equal to 2s. So v square u0 2g upon into h. So final velocity of a freely falling body is root over 2gh. So the moment it hits the stone, hits this point, its velocity will be root over 2gh. That means at a given place, v proportional to root h. That means if you drop a body from greater height, right, the body will hit the surface with what you call as more velocity. So that is the reason why whenever we drop any what called brittle ones like glass or clay something, so if I drop an article, glass article from certain height, the moment it touches the ground, it breaks into pieces. Even if you drop 2 eggs, when the eggs touches the ground, it breaks. The reason is when it touches the ground, it hits hard, so velocity is more, so automatically it breaks. So velocity of a body touching the ground depends on the height from which it is dropped at a given place. Now let us see what is average velocity. everywhere average velocity is the same. So definition is total displacement upon total time. Again, let's take an example. Suppose there is a tower. Let's take height of the tower as h. I am dropping a body from this. So u is equal to 0. By the time it touches the ground, its velocity v. I said the time taken is time of descent. So we can write the average velocity v average is equal to total displacement is h upon the time taken is time of descent, which is again I can write, just now we got time of descent as root over 2h by g. So this I can write otherwise, you take this to the numerator root over g by 2h, or if you take h inside, gh square by 2h. This is again you can write gh by 2. So this is gh by 2. So for a freely falling body, the average velocity is gh by 2. There is one more way of writing the same average velocity in terms of time of descent. Suppose if you take a freely falling body again, here u is the velocity 0. Let's take t is the time taken to fall from here to here. V is the velocity. So what is V? U plus AT. So 0 plus GT. So final velocity can also be written as GT also, where T is the time of descent. So again I can write the average velocity is initial plus final by 2, which is 0 plus GT upon 2. So this I can write GT by 2 also. Overall I can write the average velocity of a freely falling body is either I can write GH by 2 or GT by 2, where T is time of descent. So either way we can write, this is regarding the average velocity of a freely falling body, either way we can write. Now let's move on to some, these are the basic applications of freely falling body. So we have to understand what is the velocity on reaching the ground, what is the time of descent we found, then we discussed about the average velocity. Now let me explain what is the ratio of velocities of freely falling body. Let us see this. Suppose I'm dropping a body from a tower of height h. Let us take the different positions of a freely falling body. Okay. So as you know, this is velocity 0 here, v1 here, v2 here, v3, like this we want to find out. So we know that for a freely falling body, v is equal to u plus at. So I can write v is equal to gt at a given place, v proportional to time. So v1 is to v2 is to v3, so on, is equal to simply t1 is to t2, t3, so on. So in successive seconds, if you want, 1 is to 2 is to 3 is to 4, like this. So the ratio of velocities of a freely falling body in successive seconds is 1 is to 2 is to 3 is to 4. That means as the body is falling down, velocities will increase. So we can say that v3 will be greater than v2, which is greater than v1. So as the body is falling freely, its velocity keeps on increasing. Similarly, let us calculate the ratio of distances covered by a freely falling body in successive seconds. Use the equation S is equal to half at square. So again, u0, a is equal to z. So S becomes half g t square. So S proportional to t square. So if you want to find out the distances in successive seconds, so S1 is to, S2 is to, S3 is to, so on, is 1 square, 2 square, 3 square, like this. So the answer is 1 is to 4 is to 9, 16, 25, like this. So as the time increases, even the distance covered by a freely falling body will increase. So the distances covered by a freely falling body also increases. There is one more question they'll ask you. Ratio of distances covered in first second, second second, third second. Already I explained in my earlier videos, I explained what is the difference between first, second and third, or 1, 2 and 3 seconds. So for that we have to use the formula Sn is equal to U plus A into N minus half, and we know that here U0 Ag, so Sn becomes G into N minus half. So the distance covered in the first second, so simply put 1, so S1 is equal to G into 1 minus 1 by 2, nothing but G upon 2. For second second, 2 minus 1 by 2, nothing but 3G by 2. Third second, G into 3 minus 1 by 2, 5G by 2. So like that we can calculate. So let us take the ratio of those things. So S1 is to S2 is to S3, so on, is equal to 1 is to 3 is to 5 is to 7, so on. This is the distances covered by a freely falling body in first second, second second, third second, and so on. Now let us see some important graphs of a freely falling body. What are the graphs? First, let us draw what is the shape of ST graph. So what is the S equation? Ut plus half at square. So again U0, A is equal to Z. So this equation becomes S is equal to half GT square. It is of the form Y is equal to AX square. So for a freely falling body, if you draw ST graph, it is an upward parabola. ST graph is an upward parabola. Slope keep on increasing. Now let us draw VT graph, velocity time graph. So we all know V is equal to U plus AT, U0 again, A is equal to Z. So therefore V becomes GT. So it is of the form Y is equal to mx. So if you draw a graph between V and T, taking velocity on y-axis, time on x-axis, it is a straight line, and the slope of this tan theta value will give you acceleration due to gravity at that place. Now let us draw AT graph. We know that for a freely falling body, acceleration due to gravity is constant, and which is always equal to G. So if you draw AT graph, A on x-axis, T on y-axis, it's a straight line, and this is always a constant. So these are the sum of the applications we should learn. These are the basic points we should remember for a freely falling body. So in this lecture, what I explained what is meant by freely falling body. I said the only force acting on the body is gravitational force. And we have seen some daily examples of freely falling body. Then I explained what is acceleration due to gravity and what are the values of G at different places. Then we discussed about equations of motion, time of descent, final velocity, average velocity, ratio of velocities, ratio of distances covered, and then at last we have seen the graphs. So this is regarding freely falling body, and in the next video let us see some applications of freely falling body. Thank you. Hey, you all understood my video, and I think you understood what I explained in this video. Please share my content and subscribe, and don't forget to subscribe my channel if you really like my content. I am trying to make physics as interesting as possible. Once again, thanks for listening and happy physics learning. Thank you. once again.